Welcome to TEDx Versova Salon. My name is Elsa Marie De Silva, and I'm your co-host for this evening. I'm going to introduce Supreet, who's also my co-host.
Hi, everyone. This is Supreet. We are so excited to have all of you here. And we are quite excited about hearing from Swati and Pathik, who are our guests today. So looking forward to a great session and a wonderful Q&A with all of you after that.
So what is TEDx? TEDx is like a mini TED event, and the salon format is a very intimate kind of format. So there's main stage TEDx events and there's salons, which are small intimate gatherings. And we, Supreet and I, are curators of TEDx Versova. Both of us live in the Versova suburb. It's very vibrant and has everything from, indigenous people, the Colis, to Portuguese churches, to Bollywood, and a very hip crowd. So there's a mix of old and new and the best of Bombay in my view. And that's why we selected the name. And this is, our second year of hosting TEDx Versova Salons. And today we are talking about the age of innocence. Basically, from a child's perspective, how do we navigate this great reset, the moment and current times that we are in, the pandemic? And to help us, think about this, we have Dr. Swati Popat. She's an educator and she has a lot of experience working with children. So I'm sure she will have great insights. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Swati Vats to share with us her thoughts. And I'm just going to start the recording. And yes, over to you, Dr. Swati.
Namaste, everybody. And thank you, Elsa and Supreet, for this wonderful opportunity to be part of the salon. The Great Reset. I love this topic because it talks about resetting our lives, especially now that we are in this huge pandemic and we don't know what's beyond this pandemic. And that is where innocence, the word innocence comes to mind. All of you must be watching puppy videos and baby videos, and many of you have liked them and forwarded them. We watch hundreds of them. Have you ever wondered what draws us to these videos? Well, it's the sheer innocence that we see in the babies of any species. Pure innocence, and innocence is always attributed with children. They are innocent because they are untouched by social lies, social wrongs. They still know how to giggle and squeal. And that is such a fantastic way to release your emotions. You know, we have exchanged giggling and squealing with frowning and tweeting. Children talk incessantly. They talk and never get tired. They are not talking to make a point. They are not talking to hurt someone. They talk because they love to communicate. They also question all the time. All the time it's about why. And we always tell them, no, it's rude to ask questions. They ask us questions like, very embarrassing ones sometimes, like, where do babies come from? Or they point to the television, especially when a condom or a sanitary napkin ad comes, and they say, what is that for? And we say, it's rude to question. Is it rude, or are we just embarrassed by their questions? And they are so matter of fact about their questions. Children are extremely resilient. They use trial and error, and they want to learn all the time. All the time it's about, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, I want to touch this, I want to know about this. But we tell them, no, we have to not learn. We have to learn to win. We can't afford to make mistakes. And that is what is the difference between us and the children. Innocence. Have you seen their unconditional love? They don't look at parents as fat or dark. They see parents as somebody to hug, somebody to feel happy with. till we teach them about biases for loving. Children cry. They cry when they are upset, and they also accept our comforting. That is their coping mechanism. While we swallow our tears, we hide our emotions, and we vent them by sharing or forwarding senseless jokes on social media. Giggling, squealing, resilience, questioning, talking incessantly, unconditional love, crying are all the powers that children have. Why not revive the child in us, especially now during this pandemic? Why not giggle sometimes? Why not squeal with delight? We've forgotten all that. And maybe that is why the world looks so stressed, so anxious, so worried all the time. It's time we adopted the powers of childhood. And the power is that of innocence. Think how much simpler it would be to handle stress of this pandemic and beyond. Children have the power of innocence, and we have forgotten about it. Our emotional system needs a serious overhaul as we are stressed, anxious, and worried right now about finances and work and health, etc. Is there a bed available in the hospital? We are worried about so many different things. Children, they have clear minds because they don't clutter them with biases and rules and grudges. And that is the power of innocence in a child that we all need to learn about. Let's revive, reset the child in us. Let's every day, at least for 1 hour, like we go to the gym or we go for a walk. Similarly, let's squeal, giggle, ask questions, talk incessantly with our friends, our family, and love unconditionally. And see how that is going to help boost our immune system. Because happy emotions, being without all these worries, being innocent, releases positive chemicals in the brain. And that's what keeps us mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy. And right now, friends, we may have all the money in the world, but the only thing that's going to keep us safe, healthy, and happy is a good immune system. That's the only thing that's going to help keep us safe. And that is why we need a clear mind, because it will help us think clearly and positively. You see the amount of forwards we see, the amount of fake news we see, and we get worried and we get stressed out. We need to keep a clear mind just like children. We need to stop worrying about the smaller things. Children live for the now, they live for the today, and they live a very, very pure manner of life. And imagine if we were to do that, even for 1 hour every day. Think of how sane that would keep us. And also it's going to help us sleep like a child. You've seen how children sleep. When they sleep, they sleep. And then when they get up, they are fresh, again, happy with their squealing and they are laughing and they are giggling. Very, very important that children give us that little connect that life can also be happy again. So I always love to spend time with children. And that's why I've spent the last 34 years of my life just with children. It keeps you happy, it keeps you young, and it keeps you extremely positive. You must have heard the adage. It says, innocent till proven guilty. Even there, in legal terms, we use the word innocent, because innocent means to be without sin, to be without a moral wrong. So it is very, very important for us, friends, right now, to keep aside our grudges, to keep aside our biases, to keep aside our worries, and to just awaken that little child which never dies in any one of us. It's somebody that we keep on pressing down and say, okay, you're not there. I have lots of other things. I have a lot of adult things to think about. But let's think about the childlike wonder and the childlike awe that children have about life. Every sunset is magic for them. Every sunrise is magic for them. For us, around us, the sun sets, the sun rises. We never have time to even look at it. So it's very important that children have that innocence because they believe in the magic of life, the magic of the everyday, and the magic of every moment. Let's learn this positive outlook from children. We enter children's lives. We teach them biases. We teach them not to ask questions. We teach them, don't laugh so loudly. We teach them, don't talk so much, talk softly. And then we bring a lot of tension in their lives and they forget the innocence of childhood. Today is the right time for us to awaken that child lying dormant for so long in so many of us. Play a prank on somebody. Of course, a prank should not be harmful because a harmful prank is called an accident. So don't do that. Play a prank on somebody, make somebody smile, make somebody laugh. We tend to laugh at others, laugh with others, and then see the glee on our face and see how it translates into our emotions and translates into making us feel empowered that I can face this life too. There is so much depression around us. Children are resilient. Have you noticed that? They bounce back. They cry. Oh, yes, they do. And they have meltdowns. And that's something that we need to learn from them. That why bottle our emotions? Why always keep our emotions within us? Talk about them. If you can't talk to anybody about them, go talk to the mirror. That's what children do. Have you noticed them? They stand in front of a mirror and they make faces and they talk to it themselves. So they find ways to calm down. They find ways to be happy. They find ways to communicate. And that's what we need to learn from children. We need to learn to reset our life with the life of innocence that we can learn from our children. Life would be so much more easier, happier, and innocent if we just watched children every day and just became a child for an hour every day. It's not difficult. Try it. Try to reset your life with the innocence of the life of a child, of the point of view of a child. Because children in their lovely smiles teach us so many things. You forget things when you look at a smiling child's face. And that's more important. Things will come, things will go. Emotions will range from the extreme to the happiest. But what we need to understand is to cherish life as is today. Because today and the moment of today is never going to come back again. And that's what children do. They embrace life and every moment of life as if it's never going to come back. And it doesn't. So let's learn to reset our life with the innocence from a child's life. And then see the difference in your health, physical, mental, and emotional. Because right now, friends, for us to survive this pandemic, to survive all the worries and stresses of this pandemic, all we need is a positive outlook and a smiling face. So let's reset with innocence.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. That was really, really inspiring. You know, we talk about resilience, building individual and community resilience during this pandemic, this critical period. There's so much of uncertainty. Violence within the homes is increasing. There's also a lot of depression, which is leading to suicides, and it doesn't discriminate who succumbs to it. So we can learn a lot from the talk that you gave just now, you know, where looking at a problem from a child's perspective, where it's innocence, there's a lot of hope, a lot of possibilities, and we are the ones who put fear into them. We are the ones who say you can only do up to this much. We put the barriers. So thank you for framing that talk, and I want to welcome all our guests on Crossword and Shopper Stop pages. I think a lot of your students are over there, and they're sending you a lot of love and hi, ma'am, hi, Swati, ma'am, etc. So welcome, and please post your questions for Swati in the chat. We already have one question here. So even on Chopper Stop and crossword pages, please put your questions over there. So, but I have a question. So during this time, at the start of this COVID-19, the Prime Minister of Norway actually had a press conference for children. And I think she has been the only leader in the world who has given children their space to, come forward and feel free to have a town hall with her. And the questions were amazing because they were as worried about what was in store for them as we adults are. But nobody thinks of them as a constituency to kind of explain. So what advice would you give parents or schools, teachers, and other institutions when they actively think about communicating in times of a crisis?
It's very important what example you gave, Elsa. In our country, I think children, because they are not the vote bank, are not considered important in every decision. And I always say, keep the child at the center of anything that you do, whether as a parent or whether as a school community or whether as a larger community of a city or a nation, because children are our future. And we always invest for the future, don't we? We save for the future. So it doesn't make sense when we don't keep our future and their point of view or their perspective in mind whenever we are chalking out any policies, any rules, any regulations, especially during this pandemic, But I'm very proud that India is a country where the under 10s were from the beginning safeguarded from coming out, which wasn't the case in other countries. And this is the time where we did safeguard our under 10s and realized that keeping them away from all this is going to be most beneficial because, when a child gets sick, the whole family is worried, the whole family is tense. So it was very important that children were safeguarded first. But going forth now, as we reopen and we think about the future, we will have to think about children and their education, because that is something where we are lagging behind, where other governments are already ready with their remote learning engagements, both for rural and urban children. We are still on the mode of setting things in pace. So I think every family must think about children, must think about the moods of children. Children don't get depressed as such, but children do get their lows in emotion, especially when they don't get attention from their family, especially their most connected caretaker, which can sometimes be a mother, sometimes can be a father, or can be a grandparent. So it is very important that in our hustle bustle now that, where we are working from home and working at home, we have to give that time, because I hear so many parents asking me, I just don't have any time to give my child. My hands are full right now. And then you rightly said, children are being abused. There's a lot of domestic violence against children, which is on the rise because tempers are flaring. Everybody's on a short fuse. But we need to understand that children need us the most in this pandemic. They can live without all the other trappings of material world, but they can't live without connections and communication. And that's what they are dying for. So it's very, very important that we keep that in mind.
Thank you for that. And whatever you said is really true. We have one question from SV. Maybe you want to ask Dr. Swati the question yourself. So you may put on your video and ask her. You'll also have to unmute yourself. Okay, so I'm going to ask. She or he asks, how do you think we should deal with children in depression? And you just said children don't get depressed, but they have their low moments. And they are very vulnerable and sensitive to the feelings and vibes that their parents give out. So, so how should one deal?
Basically, this question can be looked at two ways. That how do you deal with children when adults are depressed, which means the parents are depressed and they don't have that emotional strength to look after children at that time. And how do you deal with children who are depressed? Children don't go through depression like adults do, but as I said, they also do get defeated with the behavior from adults. If you are constantly told to negate it, you're not accepted, your feelings are not valued, then you do go through those extreme lows in emotion. And it's very, very important that parents have to keep aware of a child's moods. Children cry, they should be allowed to cry, of course, but some parents feel that when a child is crying, it's not good, so they tell the child not to cry. That's not good. There will be times in the day that the child will vent its emotions by crying or by screaming or by having a tantrum. These are called meltdowns. And meltdowns, the word itself says meltdown, which means your heat was rising, your emotions were rising, and now it's time for you to melt it down. And that's why you release it in these kind of behaviors like tantrums, etc. So it is very important for adults to have a kind of a emotional thermometer and know their child, so that they know that this is an extreme emotion that my child has never shown. Now I need to get worried. So don't get worried about everything and anything. Worry when your child crosses over a boundary which the child has never crossed before. And for parents who are in depression, as I said, it's very, very important that you start valuing yourself. Elsa, these days, we are very worried about how we look physically. We are not worried about how we are mentally or emotionally. And that is, I think, pulling down a lot of adults, a lot of teenagers. We need to change this narrative and help children understand that it's okay if you are not that good looking. It's okay if you are fat, but it's not okay if you are not happy. It's not okay if you're not enjoying life. I think that narrative needs to change both from schools and parents.
Dr. Swati, when we are talking about the current scenario where schools are still closed in many parts of India, children have an increased screen time where they have devices, where they have access to devices. And also because parents are working from home, so they don't have help. So it's easy and convenient to give a child a device. So when they don't have access to a playground, they don't have access to their friends, and they have increased time on these electronic devices, what advice would you give to parents to help build the child's resilience, and to also make sure that they don't get addicted to digital devices? I mean, all of us are, but it's concerning when it happens at a very young age.
So, I would like to give an example which everybody understands. Fire destroys. We all know that fire destroys, fire kills, fire burns things down. But if you harness fire, you are able to cook with it and you are able to use it to keep yourself warm. And that's the same with technology. That's the same with digital media. We have always thought about it as the villain, as something to keep away from. We've never taught children technology literacy. We teach them about the signal, the traffic signal. We sing songs with them when they are 3 years old about red means stop and orange. They are never going to go on the street and drive a car, but we still teach them about traffic signals. A child is never going to go on the road alone and cross a street, but we teach them about traffic signals. But a mobile phone, a computer, a laptop, we never teach them about the distance to keep from them, how long to use them, how safe they are, what is unsafe, safe in a digital medium. So it's very, very important that parents, instead of just worrying and fretting, realize that technology and social media and digital literacy is there to stay. This is going to be the new normal. If you think that this pandemic is going to get over anytime soon, it's not. And it's going to affect children's education. The Spanish flu took away 2 years of children's education. You are now a technologically advanced world. Do you still want children to lose 2 years of their education? So my simple advice to parents would be, A, teach children about the pros and cons of technology. Make rules where and how to use screens. And most importantly, don't use screens during eating time, and don't use screens 1 hour before sleep time, because it interferes with the growth hormones in children. And children won't get addicted. if you are able to have firm and consistent rules, like a timetable designed that this is the time for screen time. And if you're so worried that my child's school is also on screen now and his entertainment is also on screen now, make a list of the screen times that your child is using and make a list of essentials and non-essentials. That what is it that you can do away with it? Which screen time can you do away with? You know, Elsa, one of the worst things that this pandemic has taught us is the importance of the word essential and non-essentials. Let's use it even when we are trying to define the screen time for children. But you can't keep them away from screens. It's not going to be possible. The only thing actually, Elsa, that has kept you and me and all of us sane in this pandemic is screens, is technology, because we've been able to connect and communicate with the outside world. So that's why I said, let's harness the good about technology and let's not allow the dangers to come in our children's lives.
That's very practical advice. So thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of the parents out there would benefit. So Preet, do you have a question?
Hi, Dr. Swati. You know, that was really lovely listening to you. So there is one question from Thomas Rajesh, but before that, I would like to put forth my question. I also am a filmmaker, so very recently we've had some situations which have kind of caused a lot of people to go through a lot of low phases in life. In fact, we heard about a teenager who took the fatal decision to end his life. So I know that screen time is important because it's also helping us in keeping sane and, you know, kind of keeping us busy. But as parents, as responsible community members, something like this, how do you prepare somebody for it? Considering that now is the time when we are hearing so much about these things, what is it that we can do as community members, as family members, for the youngsters in our family, to educate them and to make them understand that these are things which are part of life, and, you know, to avoid them from taking those decisions in life?
And I'll just add on to that. So last week we had Sonali Gupta, who spoke about anxiety, managing anxiety. And, you know, with so many, maybe parents have lost their jobs, parents have, their businesses have shut down. Children are also, you know, frustrated because they can't visit their friends or have sleepovers, etc. So when we are talking about, and then of course, you know, their favorite actor has passed away and so on and so forth. So how can we build the mental resilience of children? And how can we make mental health a non-taboo topic?
Absolutely. As I said, it's become a very taboo topic to us. If you have a cold and a cough and a fever, you go to a doctor. But if you have a mental cold, cough and fever, you would never go to a psychiatrist, because we have this taboo that pagal log jate hain psychiatrist ke paas, you know, pagalo ka doctor. We have to remove this, that just like you go to a physician, you go to a psychiatrist. How many people regularly go to a psychiatrist when they are having problems? They say, I'm depressed, but they never go to a psychiatrist because they feel that's an extreme solution. It's very important, Supreet, that parents don't consider these two words taboo, which is suicide and sex. We never talk to children about that. Children are hearing about it, children are talking about it, but it's taboo in our homes that we don't talk about it. It's very important that when these kind of things happen and are being reported, rather than hearing it from a stranger, a child should hear it from the parents. And there should be a discussion in the house that what do you think went wrong? What do you think, you know, there is a game called What If? So what if you were in this situation? What would you have done? It helps parents understand the mindset of their children. And it helps them understand that this is where I need to guide my child. There's a wonderful game that I play with parents called What If Clouds Had Strings? And the first responses are always positive, that I'll pull the cloud, I will do this, I'll do that. And then I pose the question that what would happen to the birds and airplanes if clouds had strings? So they would die, of course. So should clouds have strings? Then you get the answer. So these kind of what if games are very, very important to train a child's mind to understand right decisions and wrong decisions. Rather than preaching to a child Children, adolescents, teenagers, they don't listen to anybody preaching. And that is why it's only in the old age that we find gurus and go there to hear their preaching and pravachan. But the young children don't. So it's very, very important that we talk about suicide rather than, berating the person who committed suicide by calling the person a coward. That's not done. That's absolutely not done. But at the same time, you can talk to children about how suicide is wrong, how there are other things. Suicide is the end, actually, which many teenagers don't know. They think because it's reported, I will get a lot of publicity if I do it and I'll get attention. They don't know the end part of a suicide, that there is nothing beyond that. You've taken that decision, there's no coming back. And youngsters have a lack of impulse control. Our brain develops impulse control only by the age of 21. And that is why the age of voting and ideally the age of drinking should have been that, because then you can control your emotions. You have control over yourself. So it is very, very important that we talk about suicide. We talk about the solutions to a suicide. For example, this film star who went away, he was doing such good work, such good community service. He never allowed that to become his strength, So it is very, very important that we teach children that social work is not just for getting a tag that I did some social service or post photographs on Facebook. It should actually elevate your emotions and become your emotional anchor when you are in trouble.
Thank you for that. And Rakesh Nair has a question. He says he's a father of a toddler and she's frustrated and restless as she can't go out. How should he handle a toddler during lockdown?
Best is to play with them. When you play with them, you create a bond. There is a website called Bond Smart. So bond-smart.com. It gives age-appropriate games that parents can play with their children at home. And it's an amazing website. It will give you lots of tips and ideas. And you also have to understand that it's a toddler. And it's terrible twos, which are the worst stage in a child's life because they are learning to be independent and we are trying to keep them dependent. So it's a constant tussle and a war. So you'll have to listen to the child, let the child vent, and then play with the child, because the only thing that saves parents right now is the bond that they have with their child. When you have a bond with someone, there is a sense of belonging. And when you have a sense of belonging, there comes trust. So when you have trust with somebody, you will listen to that person. So it is very, very important for parents to invest in a bond with their children right now. I hope I'm not taking my husband's time.
So thank you so much for sharing your practical words of wisdom. There were so many nuggets in there that will help a lot of parents and adults who have little children, big children, etc. So thank you once again, Dr. Swati. It was wonderful listening to you. Over to you, Supreet.
Thank you so much, Supreet and Elsa, for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati. So, it's rare that you have on the same day, on the same show, a power couple. But we do today. So Dr. Swati is now, as you can see, she's moving out, and we have a husband, Pathik Vats here. So what do I say about Pathik? Pathik has so many accolades to his name. He's a poet, he's a writer. He's won the Filmfare Award for dialogues for one of the best films of our time, Sarfarosh. He's also been nominated at AIBA for dialogues for Char Sabzade, which is very close to my heart also as a film, because we don't make many films around Sikhism. So that was the first film, I think, which was really made, which did really well. And you were a part of that. So welcome, Pathik. Welcome to the Artist Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you, Supreet. Thanks to everybody. Thanks for having me here. And Sasrikal to you. It's very important. But anyway, Namaskar. As Supreet has said, my name is Pathik Vats. And I will first read one poem of mine. It's about children who can't go back to their home. All over the world, there are such children. But in this case, this girl child is from Tibet. And Tibet used to be buffer zone between India and China. I will not say much about it, but think about it. This, if Tibet was free, आज लद्दाख में एक भी Chinese नहीं होता, because it was originally a Tibet. So anyway, these Tibetan who migrate, I'm using a very soft and respectable word. Actually, it is not migration. It's very tough journey. They come all the way, crossing 16,000 feet of Himalaya, frozen sometimes. Some of them died. Goes unnoticed in any record of the world. So this poem is about one girl child who, by defeating the bad weather, has come and crossed over. And when he reached Dharamshala, when she went to the school, teacher asked her, "Where are you from?" She said, "I am from Tibet." The teacher said, "Oh, you are from the roof of the world." That is how the world called Tibet a roof of the world. So this is the poem about that roof of the world and their conditions. Someone is crying, someone is gasping, someone is crying, someone is gasping. "O world, O world, O world, you call us the roof of the world. O world, O world, O world, your roof is collapsing." Someone is crying, someone is gasping. Fire is always blamed, but one who instigates the fire goes without being named. Fire is always blamed, but one who instigates the fire goes without being named. In Lhasa, Lhasa is the capital of Tibet. In Lhasa, bars are opening. In Lhasa, bars are opening, monasteries are closing. In Lhasa, bars are opening, monasteries are closing. In Lhasa, watching Dalai Lama picture is a sin, but watching porno is the in thing. O world, O world, O world, you call us the roof of the world. O world, O world, O world, your roof is collapsing. Someone is crying, someone is gasping. We are all somehow connected. So remember, Tibet must be protected. Animals, rivers, mountain, and vegetation are purely nature's true education. Rivers, animals, mountains, and vegetations are purely nature's true educations. Our mountains are flooded. Usually, in the plain in other countries, plain gets flooded. Our mountains are flooded. 46,000 receding glacier. 46,000 receding glacier and dams being constructed. Man's greed inflict on us much pain. In pursuit of his personal gain. For short while he may glorify. For short while he may glorify, but we want, in long term, nature will testify. But we want, in long term, nature will testify. China, India, Nepal, Burma, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, Thailand, Vietnam and Laos, Thailand, Laos and Vietnam all get their drinking waters from the rivers which originate from Tibet. But I can't go back. The little child, what is she saying? But I can't go back to taste the water of my land. To taste the water of my land. Sorry, to taste the water of my motherland. At the age of 6, my life was fixed. At the age of 6, my life was fixed. Some have the power of wisdom, others have the forces of arms. I have the strength of innocence. I have the strength of innocence. They say a child knows nothing. They say a child knows nothing, but I know one thing. when a 6-year-old is made to cross 16,000 feet across the Himalaya. They say a child knows nothing, but I know one thing. When a 6-year-old is made to cross 16,000 feet across the Himalaya, I ask the world, if someone is listening, someone is crying, someone is gasping, oh world, oh world, oh world, you call us the roof of the world, oh world, oh world, oh world, your roof is collapsing. Thank you. Suprit, shall I read my second poem also and then we continue?
Sure, please.
Yeah. Well, this poem is about an Indian girl child, and this one is in Hindi. This is about the period, this girl child father is a construction worker, and how from a big city, the journey he has to do on, on by road to his home, and what this girl child is saying, and one journalist is interviewing, and that is how the poem starts. मुझ मजदूर की बच्ची में उसको शायद दिखाई दी अपनी बच्ची, कैमरा बंद कर जब उसने चॉकलेट बढ़ाई, 4 दिन में पहली बार मेरी बच्ची मुस्कुराई। मुझ मजदूर की बच्ची में उसको शायद दिखाई दी अपनी बच्ची, कैमरा बंद कर जब उसने चॉकलेट बढ़ाई, 4 दिन में पहली बार मेरी बच्ची मुस्कुराई। बातूनी बोलते बोलते तुतलाया करती है, मजदूर की बेटी है फिर भी हक से सवाल किया करती है। आज भरी दोपहर टूटी सड़क पर उसने पूछा, कब से चल रहे हैं बापू, घर का रास्ता इतना लंबा क्यों है, हमारे लिए हर हाल में तेज धूप और पत्थर क्यों। कब से चल रहे हैं बापू, घर का रास्ता इतना लंबा क्यों है, हमारे लिए हर हाल में तेज धूप और पत्थर क्यों है। चुप क्यों हो बापू, किसी ऐसे रास्ते पर चलो ना बापू, जो छोटा हो और मिल जाए खाने को दो। मैंने कहा भूख में घर का, गरीबी में सफर का। मैंने कहा भूख में घर का, गरीबी में सफर का, जिंदगी में मेहनत का कोई छोटा रास्ता नहीं होता मेरी बेटी। मैंने कहा भूख में घर का, गरीबी में सफर का, जिंदगी में मेहनत का कोई छोटा रास्ता नहीं होता मेरी बेटी। और हम मजदूरों को तो मेहनत करके ही मिलती है 2 वक्त की रोटी। अब बताता हूं तुम्हारे घर का सफर इतना लंबा क्यों है बेटी, अब बताता हूं तुम्हारे घर का सफर इतना लंबा क्यों है बेटी। घर से जो जितनी दूर जाता है पर किलोमीटर उतनी ज्यादा पगार पाता है। वो कहाँ चुप रहने वाली थी, बोली पर बापू मुसीबत में घर लौटना मुश्किल भी तो हो जाता है। वो बोलते बोलते नहीं थकती, चलते चलते थक जाती है। जब पैर में छाले ज्यादा पड़ जाते हैं तो भूखी सड़क किनारे लेट जाती है। कई दिनों से भूखी मेरी बच्ची को, कई दिनों से भूखी मेरी बच्ची को रात में चांद भी लगा मक्खन से चुपड़ी हुई रोटी। कई दिनों से भूखी मेरी बच्ची को रात में चांद भी लगा मक्खन से चुपड़ी हुई रोटी। आसमां की तरफ इशारा करके बोली, अक्सर मांगते हो ना, हे मालिक मुझे दे दे रोटी। आसमां की ओर इशारा करके बोली, अक्सर मांगते हो ना, हे मालिक मुझे दे दे रोटी, क्या यही है वो रोटी। हाँ बेटी ला दूं तुझे मक्खन से चिपड़ी हुई रोटी। हाँ बेटी ला दूं तुझे वो मक्खन से चिपड़ी हुई रोटी। उसने गौर से आसमां की ओर देखा, उसने गौर से आसमां की ओर देखा। भूखी इतनी थी कि भूख से ही पेट भर लिया। और मुस्कुरा कर बोली, नहीं बापू मत लाओ वो रोटी, नहीं बापू मत लाओ वो रोटी तो ऊपर वाले की है, नहीं बापू मत लाओ वो रोटी तो ऊपर वाले की है, आप ही तो कहते हैं कितने भी भूखे हो पर हम मजदूर नहीं छीनते किसी की रोटी, नहीं बापू मत लाओ वो रोटी तो ऊपर वाले की है, आप ही तो कहते हो कितने भी भूखे हो पर हम मजदूर नहीं छीनते किसी की रोटी. Thank you so much. So listen to children in this crisis period also, how the moral is intact. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pathik. I mean, I was getting goosebumps when you were reading it because, you know, for the last so many months, we have noticed these the migrants and these people who have come from
Yes.
other,
Yes.
states to work in our metro cities. They
Yeah.
have been homeless. They have been without food.
Absolutely.
Trying to walk. We've heard of people who have almost reached home and passed away because
Yeah.
they have traveled 1,500
Yes.
miles on
Yeah.
foot, without any food and water sometimes. So I think this is almost like an ode to all those migrants and all those workers who made our lives so much easier and found this the hardest time that they couldn't find any help from anywhere. So
Yes.
thank
You're
you
right.
so much for that.
Thank you.
So moving ahead, love your poem. But I think everyone would also want to know your journey in the film industry. You've written
Sure.
dialogues for some of the biggest films in our time. And, for I don't know if you have family in the industry because coming and finding your footing and doing something so brilliant, your talent is something which definitely is with you, but it's very difficult in this industry. So how did you manage? Why don't you share a little bit about your journey?
Sure.
How did Sarfarosh?
First question. छोड़िए फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, अपने पूरे खानदान में मैं पहला हूं जो बॉम्बे आया था. मैं उस वक्त बॉम्बे था. सो नोबडी, एब्सोल्युटली जीरो. मैं मुंबई में किसी को भी नहीं जानता. सो इट वाज, if I can call it, a hard work. And I had, in one of my pocket, I had 750 rupees, but my other pocket was full of my dreams. So I thought I must go and fulfill my dream. So there are ups and downs, there are struggles, and it sounds very cliche, but you do have to sleep sometime on the road. You do have to share rooms with 5-6 people. But I don't remember it as a sad, or these all experiences made me. And then one of my friend, Surendra Pratap Singh, late Surendra Pratap Singh, he was very well-known Hindi journalist. He started us that. He introduced me to Mr. Mrinal Singh, the great filmmaker of our country, Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Singh, Ritik Gada. So I was fortunate to join him as an assistant director, and I wrote the dialogues along with Mr. Surendra Pratap Singh. The film name was Genesis. It those days had gone to Cannes Festival, and it starred Nasir Bhai, Nasiruddin Shah, Om Bhai Ompuri ji, Shabana Azmi ji, M.K. Raina, and it had a music by Pandit Ravi Shankar. So my very first experience, an entire unit was from France. It was an Indo-French film. In fact, it was India's first film which was not dubbed. It is its own location song. We were shooting at the Indo-Pak border near Jaisalmer. So that great experience gave me a more strength that I can make it. And then I came to, and I started making documentaries, this country and human, not just my country, any human being, wherever human rights are violated, even if they are in my enemy country, I fight for them, and it's concern. बच्चे अभी जो चाइना हम पे अटैक कर रहा है, अगर वहां भी परेशान है तो मुझे उनके लिए दुख है. भूखे वहां है तो उनके लिए भी दुख है. पाकिस्तान के बच्चों के लिए भी दुख है. नहीं दुख है तो उन लोगों के लिए जो वॉर छेड़ते हैं, युद्ध करते हैं. कमिंग बैक टू इसी को थीम में मैंने एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनाई. हम सब ने एक गीत सुना है, ए मेरे वतन के लोगों जरा आंख में भर लो पानी. बहुतों को नहीं पता, अभी भी नहीं पता होगा, वो कवि प्रदीप ने लिखा था. मैंने I made that documentary film it was on his life. And in that first time he revealed that he wrote this song after 1962 war with China in the memory of soldiers. They were from my state, Haryana. I mean, all Indian soldiers are my soldiers. And meri jo parvarish hai, I was raised among them. They used to tell me the stories of those ones. So you can understand, if I could write Sarfarosh dialogue, somewhere I give credit to those soldiers. To that village of mine, I get always emotional because these days our children are not getting that raising atmosphere, that right atmosphere where the right kind of values can be narrated to them and told to them. Coming back to that, my documentary on that has told me that, has convinced me that I must keep on doing such work apart from doing a hardcore commercial film. I also wrote the dialogue of a film Qayamat, which is very popular film otherwise. Ajay Devgan was there, and Sunny Deol, Sunny Pa ji ki film si Teesri Aankh. That dialogue also, I mean, those dialogue also I wrote. But this journey was little difficult. It was not that easy. It had its own, sometimes you really feel, am I really on a right path? Though your name is Pathik, but you sometimes question, कि Pathik sahi path pe chal bhi raha hai ki nahi chal. But I feel if you have determination and if you are convinced what you are doing is right, you can achieve that. And working with the Sarfarosh unit, I mean, of course, Amir Saab, I tell you, he is the star. Everyone should get a chance to work. No bad word on the set, only inspiration, and he used to appreciate every good thing. We made this film as collective effort, and everyone has contributed in every department. I learn a lot from Amir Saab also, and from the lot of people who worked with him.
थैंक्स पथिक। तो आपकी भी जर्नी में कहीं ना कहीं मतलब इंटेंट है जो मेरे ख्याल से आप जिसमें बड़े हुए हो, आपने जैसा माहौल देखा है अपने साथ, अपने आसपास, आपने वो मतलब उसी के लिए आप डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज बनाते हैं और उसी को आगे लेके जाते हो अपने डायलॉग्स में और अपना जो भी आप राइटिंग करते हैं, राइट? आई टोटली अंडरस्टैंड। मेरे फादर भी आर्मी में है, मेरे पेरेंट्स भी आर्मी में थे। तो वो फीलिंग मैं जानती हूँ, वो जब आर्मी सोल्जर्स की बात होती है तो वो इवन आई गेट इमोशनल। सो बट बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब कोई क्रिएटिव इंसान अपनी ऐसी ही किसी इमोशनल नर्व को लेके लिखता है, तो मेरे ख्याल से दैट्स व्हाई दे विन फिल्म फेयर अवार्ड्स आल्सो। तो सरफरोश का कुछ डायलॉग या कुछ जो आपको बहुत पसंद है, जो बहुत फेमस भी हुए हैं, कुछ चीजें हैं जो उसकी बहुत फेमस हुई?
जरूर मैं आपको, देखिए, एक उसमें करेक्टर है इंस्पेक्टर सलीम का, और एक है एसीपी राठौर जो आमिर साहब ने किया, आमिर खान साहब ने। उनकी जो उनके बीच का जो द्वंद्व है, वन वांट्स ए मेडल बट सिंस ही इज फ्रॉम ए डिफरेंट रिलीजन, उसको एक केस से इसलिए हटा दिया जाता है क्योंकि जो भाग गया है बदमाश, उसके हाथ से छूट गया है, वो उसी के धर्म का है, उसी का मजहब। तो उसमें मैंने जो दो डायलॉग थे वो मुझे बहुत पसंद है और बहुत पॉपुलर हैं। जब भी मैं कुछ मुस्लिम इलाकों में जाता हूँ, वो बहुत ही, अदरवाइज बाकी लोग भी बहुत कहते हैं। वो डायलॉग ये है कि आमिर साहब का डायलॉग कि सलीम, मुझे इस केस को सोल्व करने के लिए एक नहीं, तुम्हारी, हाँ, तुम 10 सलीम की जरूरत है, कुछ ऐसा लाइन। लेकिन जो सलीम का जवाब है वो मेरा बहुत ही दिल से लिखा हुआ जवाब है, वो है 10 नहीं, 10,000 सलीम मिलेंगे अगर भरोसा करोगे, और फिर किसी सलीम से मत कहना ये मुल्क उसका घर नहीं। तो this was a message for, because Sarfarosh had 2 layers. One, the proxy war which our so-called friendly enemy country is doing with us, कब तक करेगा खुदा जाने, और one within our society, how we divide each other. And I am against the communalism. On the same time, I am also against the pseudo-secularism. हम माइनॉरिटी के किसी अपराध को सिर्फ इसलिए अपराध ना कहें क्योंकि वो माइनॉरिटी का है, और मेजोरिटी के किसी अपराध को इसलिए इग्नोर कर दें कि वो मेजोरिटी का है, तकलीफ वहां से होगी। I feel a Muslim should guide his community and Hindu should guide his community. And instead of blaming each other and looking for a one minor thing happens somewhere and entire community will start blame. जैसे सारे हिंदू मुसलमान के खिलाफ है, सारे मुसलमान हिंदू, ऐसा तो है नहीं। तो सरफरोश में मैंने उसको कोशिश किया बुनने का उसके बीच में, जो काफी सफल भी रहा।
Yes, I mean, it's very inspiring, you know, Pathik, जब क्रिएटिव लोग ये छोटे छोटे नुआंसेस डालते हैं ना फिल्म्स में, जो रहते हैं, जो हमें भी याद है आज तक, और जब वो हो रहा होता है हमारे सामने, हमें मालूम है वो क्यों वहां पे है, एंड उससे अगर थोड़ा भी इम्पैक्ट होता है रियल लाइफ में, जैसे आप अपने ब्रदर्स के साथ और अपनी सिस्टर्स के साथ आप बिहेव करते हैं, अपनी कम्युनिटी में बिहेव करते हैं, आई थिंक that's something which is so inspiring, and I'm sure every writer out there would love to get that chance जहाँ पे वो कुछ ऐसा डाल पाए जो एक सोसाइटी में घर कर जाए और वो बेटर हो जाए जो है आज उससे।
Absolutely right. See, I will tell one new dialogue which is from my new film which I am writing, which is very contemporary situations are there. And अभी बीमारी भी चल रही है और देश पर हमला भी हो रहा है. So one dialogue which my character in coming film is saying is like this: माँ को बीमारी में और देश को गुलामी में अकेला नहीं छोड़ा जाता.
Wow.
So this is, I mean, देश is our मातृभूमि. So माँ को बीमारी में और मातृभूमि को गुलामी में अकेला नहीं छोड़ा जाता. So and दूसरा डायलॉग उसी फिल्म का है कि सच और झूठ के बीच कोई तीसरा रास्ता नहीं. Because
Powerful.
we you know, in modern time we have one very convenient word called gray, the gray areas. I love the gray colors, especially the cloud when are gray. But this gray area has made it has painted all human values. So everything is gray. And we try to justify that gray color on our values. So that's why I said कोई बीच का रास्ता नहीं होता सच और झूठ की लड़ाई.
That's so true, and I'm so glad that we are getting to talk today, क्योंकि I think ये छोटी छोटी nuances हैं हमारी लाइफ में. हर रोज की लाइफ में भी हम जब सिचुएशन में कुछ रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं तो हम ग्रे में घुस जाते हैं. That's where I think a lot of problems start also.
जी. Further we allow ourselves to go down into the problems. मैं आपको एक और डायलॉग्स जो ऑडियंस है उनको भी कहूंगा कि वो उस पर सोचें. हम जो गाय है उसका दूध निकालते रहते हैं, कभी कभी उसका बच्चा भी दूर होता है उससे, और वो बेचारी दूध ही देगी, गौ माता है हमारे लिए. लेकिन इंसान को ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. तो sometimes how a thought comes. One dialogue I first wrote and a full script idea came, which I'm sharing on your platform. First time actually, and the dialogue is: आदमी हो तो बदला लो, गाय हो तो दूध दो. Cow cannot stop people taking away everything of or depriving her own calf, but इंसान ये कर सकता है और उसको करना चाहिए. अपने पर हुए हर उस हमले का जो उसके वजूद के खिलाफ है, उसका जवाब हमें जरूर देना चाहिए, क्योंकि there is no alternate to it.
Thanks. Yes, no. So thank you for sharing that for the first time. You said you're sharing it on our.
Yes, first time.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. So I know we have paucity of time, so I just have one more question, and then we'll keep talking later also. आपने इसके बाद 4 साहबजादे के भी डायलॉग्स लिखे.
जी.
सरफरोश और फिर 4 साहबजादे. I know soldiers है, but बच्चों की कहानी है in a way. गुरुजी के बच्चों की कहानी है. So how was your experience with that? उसमें आपने मतलब पंजाबी में भी है थोड़ा बहुत तो.
हाँ. देखिए, my father was born in Sangrur, which is in Punjab, And I was born in, later when I was born, it was Punjab only. It is in Haryana. But in my upbringing, Sikh Guru were like part of everyday affair. Though I am not Sikh, but I know about Sikhism sometimes more than my Sikh friends. Why? Because my grandfather, he almost every day used to ask me one question about Guru Gobind Singh, one about Guru Tegh Bahadur, the great Sant Guru Sahab, who sacrificed his life for Kashmiri Pandit. उनका धर्म बदलने के लिए नहीं कहा था औरंगजेब ने. गुरु साहब ने कश्मीरी पंडितों का धर्म ना बदला जाए इसलिए अपना शीश झुकाया नहीं, शीश कटने दिया, बलिदान कर दिया. मुझे तो कई बार ऐसा लगता है कि जो अगर आज गुरु तेग बहादुर जैसे सिख गुरु होते तो कोई कश्मीरी पंडितों को कश्मीर से नहीं निकाल सकता. और हमको सिख गुरुओं को सिर्फ धर्म के नाम पर नहीं, उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है, देयर कंट्रीब्यूशन इज very, very big and very huge contribution in keeping this country one. Guru Gobind Singh, Guru Tegh Bahadur, everybody should read about them. And in the Guru Granth Sahib, from various poets, sons from various religions, you don't know, Supreet, I'm just telling others, their poetry is there in Guru Granth Sahib. Inclusiveness. सबको साथ लेकर चलने की बात सब करते हैं, पर गुरु ग्रंथ साहब एक ऐसा ग्रंथ है जो वाकई जिसमें सबकी, आपको कबीर भी मिलेंगे वहां पर, आपको मीरा भी मिलेंगे वहां पर, और गुरु साहब के तो वचन वहां हैं. सो दैट इंस्पिरेशन केम फ्रॉम देयर. आई कंसिडर इट्स माय ड्यूटी टू ऑलवेज रिमेंबर देम. एंड ये गुरु साहब का कुछ आशीर्वाद था दैट आई वाज एबल टू राइट. आई विल बिकॉज टाइम इज शॉर्ट, but I tell you, Sikh all over the world, if they come to know I am there, they'll make sure that I'm comfortable and they'll make sure I'm a vegetarian. So you can ask my wife, an entire Europe trip, we used to get very good, I'm a foodie, very good vegetarian food. Because of, they love this film. And I'm very happy that Guru Sahib, that is, I consider it Guru Sahib Prasad. Because dil se jo kuch bhi likha jata hai हमसे, वो सब जनता तक पहुंचता है, जनता उसे पसंद करती है.
Thank you so much, Pathik. On that note, I think we will have to close the Facebook Live because it's going to stop streaming, but we will keep talking. So please stay here. Everyone, please stay here. We'll have some more questions for Pathik. I'm sure everyone wants to ask you something about this industry and about your journey.
Sure.
So Elsa, would you like to come in?
Yeah, we want to thank all the people watching on Crosswords and Shopper Stop Facebook. Thank you for joining us and for putting your comments in the chat section. Thank you once again, and join us next week at 5.